scratch the surface of the power of jQuery. And here I want to talk about the jQuery event model. So I've gone ahead and created just a little form that asks for the user's first and last name. Let's just take a look and see what that looks like. So we'll go ahead and open that up in the www folder. And let's open that in, doesn't really matter which browser we open it in. Of course, I can't find the one I want there. There we go, Firefox. All right, so there you go, first and last. But let's say I wanted to attach events to these particular fields. Well, JavaScript has an event model, and that event model is part of the jQuery mobile library. So you'll notice that the ID of this one is first, and the ID of the second one is last. So I'm going to create a window onload function. Now, normally I do a device ready here, but we're testing in the browser. So I'll put in a init function here. And in this init function, what I'm going to do is go ahead and when we get the actual form, I'm going to attach to it some functionality using events. So I'm going to use the jQuery shorthand here, and that looks like this. I'm going to select first. That selects something with the ID first. It's the equivalent of document get element by ID first. That's the jQuery equivalent of that there on line 38. And I'm going to bind to that on the click function a anonymous function that'll run every time click occurs. So the function, again, it's anonymous, so there's no name to it the way we're doing this. We'll just alert out, you clicked me. Of course, on a mobile device, it would be touched. So what we did here again is once we initialize the device and the window's been drawn, we've attached to first, which is this input element, on a click event, this function, you clicked me. This is very much kind of the jQuery shorthand that you're seeing here. Matter of fact, this $sign is an alias for the word jQuery itself. All right, so let's go through that little process again. Here's event, and we've got that in, well, this time in Chrome. I don't suppose it matters that much. All right, and let's click it. And there we go. We get the you clicked me. So we've attached or bound that event, in this case, click to first. Now, we can, if we want to, bind other events, like, for example, change. So what I'm going to do is, let's put down here a div ID equals result. So we're creating a new div. And this time, again, bound to first, we're going to bind to the change event, which means the content has changed, another anonymous function. People like using anonymous functions in this context. I think it's so you don't accidentally call them elsewhere in your script. And this time, we're going to get result. I'm going to use standard JavaScript this time. Get, you can mix the two. Result, and I'm going to set the inner HTML equal to document get element by ID first dot value. So we're going to get whatever's in that first field, and we're going to put it into the result divs in our HTML. And by the way, I could have done this using jQuery shorthand too. But to fully understand that, you really need to take a jQuery course. All right, so let's go to event here. And Oops, loaded it in that wrong browser again. Here we go. So click, we get that. So MARK, the value's changed. It appears down there in the div. There's our click event again. Boom. So jQuery Mobile, like JavaScript, has a sophisticated event model you can use to hook events onto elements within your mobile-like GUI.